So the paleo diet is constantly evolving, I would say. It's, I mean, everyone has read something about it, right? So it's basically the notion that we have evolved and we have been eating as hunter-gatherers for most of our evolution, and we only recently started introducing industrially produced foods, processed foods and things like that. And so our bodies are not well adjusted to eat them. That's kind of like the idea that's behind the framework. And whether that's 100% accurate or not doesn't really matter to me personally. So why I would recommend the paleo diet is very simple. You are going to be guaranteed to eat foods that are healthy. And that doesn't mean that when something is not paleo, it's by definition not healthy. But when something is paleo, it's probably quite good for you. And the reason is that paleo consists of vegetables, nuts, fruits, healthy meats and wild-caught fish. Now there's nothing wrong with any of these foods, and so if you would focus your diet around these, then you're going to be in a good shape. So I would consider it a framework and not a dogma or anything like that. So you can obviously deviate it from a little bit to a certain degree, but it's just useful in daily life. When you go to a restaurant and you want to know what you should eat in terms of health, you can use this idea, like was this available, you know, like is this a vegetable, is this a fruit? So in that sense I think it's a really cool idea, and that's why I decided to follow it myself as well, because it's easy and it works. And so what I mean by it works is I've tried pretty much every diet under the sun when I was overweight. So I went for the conventional thing first, and I throw out my milk and I replace it with soy milk. I started eating whole grain breads and things like that. You know, I felt worse. I've never felt that bad. And I went vegetarian for a while, didn't work either at all. Like it's in fact, you have less energy, I felt lethargic, daily migraines, things like that. And so the reason I got to paleo is because my brother was here in Bangkok actually, and he first started the paleo thing. And he convinced me after a while, so hey, try this. And I was like, no way, man. People who don't eat bread is healthy. Like everyone eats bread, like things like that, right? And I grew up eating that, so there's nothing wrong with it. So that you guys are like an extreme segment in the terms of diet, and I'm not gonna do it. But in the end I got a bit desperate, so I was like, why not? I'll give it a shot, you know, like he's running triathlons and I'm here sitting in front of an office desk, so maybe there's some truth to it. And I went quite strict, and I lost 45 kilograms in the first 8 months or so without much effort. I was like, okay, and I've never felt better. So what I mean with it works, it's like you go back to your natural weight if you eat quite well. You have more energy, you're more focused, and you're just a happier person in general. And again, health impacts pretty much everything in your life. So it's important to be reasonably healthy. The paleo diet works for people who, for pretty much anyone really. So if you're busy in the office and you're working long hours, you're already compromising your health a little bit by sitting in front of the computer or anything like that indoors. And so you need to focus on your diet, and because if you don't, you will notice like you start slacking off, you will become less motivated, and when you're not in good shape, your work is going to suffer as well. I mean, that's quite obvious. So you need to have a reasonable health baseline, I would say. So, and I think the paleo diet is great for that. It's very compatible to achieve that. And so but I would have to stress, paleo diet is not the only way to do it. There are many other ways to get to reasonable health as well. And I mean, you can even be a healthy vegetarian. I would just say that's going to be a lot harder. If you want to be a healthy vegetarian, you need to be really careful about what you eat. And you need to like plan it very well. Whereas with the paleo diet, you kind of just wing it. I mean, if you eat a bunch of vegetables and meat, you're good. Like there's not much more to it. So, and that way is, I think, for people who are busy, I think that's a good way to do it.